Super Robot Wars in the recent games has been very shy about killing off characters, most notably in Super Robot Wars 30. Victory Gundam had a lot of its cast live, with all of their sacrifice attempts being deterred somehow. Seems like unless you're already dead before the game starts, chances are you'll be around for the end of the game. In this video, I'd like to discuss the fate of two very important idiots from Gurren Lagann, Kamina and Kittan. This is purely for discussion and exploring a fun what-if scenario for Gurren Lagann, completely in the context of Super Robot Wars. This video will also contain heavy spoilers for Gurren Lagann and Super Robot Wars Z and X, so beware. Now this will be a controversial question, but is it necessary for these two to die? I can't wait to dive into this topic as I've been thinking about it for a while now. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoy. The one that really got me thinking about this is Kittan, so we'll start with him. In Z3, he meets his fate the same as he did in the anime, and you are refunded any resources you put into him and the Space King Kittan. For first-time adaptation, this is appropriate. Gurren Lagann had major plot relevance in Z3, the final conflict even being against the anti-spiral. He shows up in the multiverse labyrinth with Kamina to nudge Shimon forward, and his job is done. Super Robot Wars Z3 did a fantastic job with Gurren Lagann, and it really took 3 games, Z2 Part 1, Z2 Part 2, and Z3 Part 1 to fully adapt the story. Now I'll get into Super Robot Wars X. Out of the VXT trilogy, and even 30, Kittan is the only usable unit to die. He meets his fate similarly, though it isn't the Spiral Death Machine, but the Karmic Horizon, which serves a similar purpose. After seeing Banjo sacrifice himself, he dives into the Karmic Vortex with a Giga Drill Break, just like with the Spiral Death Machine. However, Banjo basically just psyched everyone out and showed up again, encouraging everyone and saying that Kittan had just pulled off a miracle. Kittan also showed up in the multiverse labyrinth with Kamina to encourage Shimon, but honestly, Kamina can be the only one to push Shimon forward from here. This event didn't have nearly as much weight as Z3, since it wasn't even the Spiral Death Machine, and the transforming of the Super Galaxy Daigren wasn't even a plot point here, and Shimon was already in the labyrinth. While his death in the anime was very important, here it seems unnecessary. You could argue that Kittan had to die because he never got to the final battle with the anti-spiral in the anime, but this is Super Robot Wars, so why not have this encounter happen? I'd love to see some dialogue between the two, and have the King Kittan Giga Drill Break be an event attack unlock against the anti-spiral. As far as him and Yoko go, he didn't even kiss her before he took off, so I guess they could do whatever with that, either getting him together or just brushing the relationship off. In any case, I'd like to see Kittan survive one of these games, and throw down with the anti-spiral for once. Kamina is a bit more complicated, since his death is far more important than Kittan's, so let's break him down. In Z2 Part 1, he meets his fate as normal against one of the Beastmen generals, Giga Drill breaking him before dying. This is obviously important for Shimon's character growth, his position as main protagonist and leader of Daigren. In Z3, he shows up in the multiverse labyrinth to push Shimon forward. In Super Robot Wars X, since it starts post-time skip, he is already dead and is referenced throughout the game. Shows up in the labyrinth with Kittan and pushes Shimon forward. Unless they want to wildly change the story for Gurren Lagann with him alive in post-time skip, his fate should stay the same. However, this all depends on if they even use the second half of the story. I'm going to argue that for the first half of the story, he can live and it wouldn't be a huge detriment. First off is the issue with Shimon's development. Without Kamina's death, he wouldn't be who he is post-time skip. They could also keep Shimon as a follower and keep Kamina in the limelight. It detracts from Shimon's character, but it's an idea. Now, while narratively weaker, they could pull Kamina seemingly dying, disappearing for a few stages while Shimon copes, and show back up later after Shimon had accepted his death and Giga Drill breaking one of the Beastmen generals. This would give us confident post-Kamina death Shimon alongside Kamina, a dynamic that would be interesting to see. This will also give us a Kamina and Lord Genome encounter, much like Kittan with the anti-spiral. The story will obviously cut off right after dealing with Lord Genome, and not go into the second half. Yoko can have her happy ending too. I'm not saying having Kamina and Kittan alive is better for the story, but at this point Super Robot Wars can take some liberties and I wouldn't be upset. The anime is what it is, and they've adapted the story properly already. So why not change it up and have Kamina alive if they use the first half, and Kittan alive in the second half? Having Kamina fighting with a proud and confident Shimon against Lord Genome would be cool. Having Kittan actually get to land a hit on the anti-spiral would be awesome. But that's just my thoughts. If you guys can think of any other ways they can keep them alive and have it make sense, I'd love to hear it. This is purely for discussion, and I by no means think it's better for the narrative. I just think it would be interesting for Super Robot Wars to do something like this, since they don't kill off characters much these days, and they already adapted the story proper. I think I'll be doing more of these discussion type videos, just to keep things fresh. I also have another video series I'm working on, and I'll be uploading the first video soon. If you made it this far, a subscription and like would be appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, I'll see you in the next one.